Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week on Tesla Time News.
Episode 23. Our first story this week, Tesla confirmed on February 8th that it is pausing Model X and S production for a week starting later this month to install equipment for the Model 3 production.
Yeah, during this downtime, Tesla will be installing new equipment, including another stamping press, adding capacity to their existing paint shop, and this is all because they're getting ready for the Model 3.
Sources told Reuters that Tesla plans to start building a small number of Model 3s during this week to test the production lines.
The pause will not affect February's monthly S and X production numbers, according to Tesla, as they added production days to compensate. We should note here that Tesla has pushed back its fourth quarter earnings call to February 22nd.
Yes, that would give them 2 days to bump out some Model 3s right before the earnings call.
Mm-hmm.
And in Elon's big tweet storm from February 5th, Elon confirmed that the Model 3 will use the numeric 3 instead of the stylized 3 lines.
According to a survey of over 10,000 Tesla fans that I read this week, over 75% of us want the stylized horizontal lines.
So, I think we should change it.
We should change what?
We should call up Elon and say, hey, come on, change it to what we want,
Maybe you can't because of Ford. Maybe we should call Ford and complain.
Yeah. Well, we just have to wait till they put them out of business.
Yeah. Here's a cool new update. Tesla has introduced real-time supercharger occupancy data on the vehicle map.
That is so cool. So does this mean that you can now see how busy a supercharger is before you arrive?
It sure does. In fact, you can check out any supercharger anywhere in the world and see how many cars are charging there real time.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. We're going to be doing a video right after this, so keep on lookout for it.
Definitely. Speaking of the touchscreen, everyone who drives a Tesla knows that the web browsing speed is, slow.
Yeah. A new update is coming soon that uses a new 4.4 Linux kernel, whatever that means, that should improve the web browsing speed.
According to an article in Electric,
I love those guys.
Drawbridge, the research firm, observed Tesla user data for a month and found that only 38,932 Tesla owners use their web browser.
It doesn't sound like a lot. In fact, a little quick math in my head, 150,000 users, that's about 30%. That means that only 30% of users are actually using their web browser. And in fact, I saw that over a 7-day period, that number dropped to 6,000 users. So not many people are using their web browsers.
Right. I don't blame them.
Yeah, it's slow.
Yeah.
But should be getting faster.
That could be cool.
Senator Martin Heinrich, a Democrat from New Mexico, plans to reintroduce a bill that would give a 30% tax credit for energy storage.
The 30% tax credit incentives made a huge difference with solar and could have a huge impact with the battery storage.
In the U.S. right now, if you install both solar and battery storage at the same time, you can get the 30% tax credit off both.
But if you purchase a battery pack like the Tesla Powerwall separately, you don't get the credit.
Right. So that's why it's very important. This legislation is super important. It didn't pass the last session of Congress, but now it has even more bipartisan support.
Yeah, Senator Dean Heller, Republican from Nevada, is a co-sponsor.
So contact your congresspeople to support it.
Do people contact their congresspeople anymore? I bet most don't even know how to do it.
Believe it or not, when you write, or better yet, call your congressperson, it makes a huge impact. It only takes a minute, and it's how democracy works. If you sit at home and you're silent, then your voice can't be heard.
We'll provide 2 links below. One to your congressperson in the House of Representatives, and the other to help you find your senator.
Yeah, then just call them up. You'll get a staffer on the phone who will log your call, and you just tell them, well, here, let's role play it, okay? Sure. I will be the viewer out there who should be calling their congressperson. You be the staffer.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello, this is your congressperson's office.
Hi, this is Zach Cataldo, and I've been watching Tesla Time News, and I really think that bill in Congress, the one that gives a 30% tax break to battery storage, should pass.
Okay, well, I'll let your congressperson know. Thank you so much for calling.
See how simple that is? Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Do it.
Elon tweeted again that the 100 kilowatt hour battery pack is as big as he's planning on going for now in the S and the X.
In a tweet on February 7th, Elon said, no plans to take X, S, or 3 above 100 kilowatt hours. Semi, necessarily, and pickup truck, maybe, will go above.
Elon then followed up a tweet from Nick Janovic that the Model 3 battery will have to be smaller than 100 kilowatt hours. And this is basically just because the wheelbase of the Model 3 is going to be smaller and you just can't fit that many batteries in there.
So, since the Model 3 battery pack will be made with the new 2170 batteries, which are more energy dense, what do you think, Jesse, will be the biggest pack offered on the Model 3?
I'm thinking probably somewhere between...
Like a 90, maybe?
80, 90, that sort of area. Obviously, it will get you further because it's going to be a smaller car. It'll be lighter, and so your range won't suffer. It's just the amount of energy you've stored in it. So,
right.
I think you can probably get away with an 80 or 90.
Let's see if that comes to be.
Very exciting.
Motor Trend was able to get a Tesla Model S P100D with Ludicrous Plus to go 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.28 seconds and the quarter mile in 10.5 seconds.
Wow. No other production car in Motor Trend history has ever beaten 2.3 seconds until now.
So explain this acceleration chart that we're seeing here. So I see all these squiggly lines. I don't quite understand it.
So this is the acceleration that you are getting off the line, basically, and as you're accelerating forward. Now, the interesting thing in what they talk about in Motor Trend is not just the acceleration, but the jerk or the impulse. So if you take velocity and you take the derivative of velocity, you get acceleration. And if you take the derivative of acceleration, you get impulse.
What is that?
So impulse is basically the change in acceleration. So you see the chart how there's a very steep curve to begin with. That is the impulse, the change in acceleration.
And that's feel what that as a jerk?
That's the jerk, yeah.
Oh.
That's the change in an acceleration. Because, acceleration can just sort of feel like gravity. We were experiencing it right now. I take something and I drop it, and that's acceleration.
Gotcha.
But jerk is a change in acceleration. It would be like if you were, I'm just floating around and then gravity, boom, it's that.
I see. So that's why the lines on the chart are so
right, and that's what you feel when you're in a Tesla. You feel the jerk. It's not only about
you are
the
a jerk.
acceleration.
It's that you're in a car that's jerking you around.
Right. Well,
gotcha.
You might be a jerk.
You could be a
jerk. Who
jerk.
knows?
We've been hearing a lot lately about Wall Street investors who are shorting Tesla stock.
Yeah, what does shorting mean again?
It basically means that you're betting that a stock is going to go down in price. So right now there's over $9 billion betting that Tesla will drop.
Isn't one of their big arguments that Tesla is just a house of cards and that things like the Gigafactory are just for show?
Yeah, there are people out there who don't understand how Tesla is changing the game. But if the Gigafactory is fake, then it's an awfully big fake, because we just found out this week that Tesla and Panasonic have spent over $1 billion on construction so far at the Gigafactory in Nevada.
Some of the permits pulled revealed interesting construction projects, including a microgrid lab, a nitrogen yard, and a thermal energy storage tank.
Isn't that cool? Tesla has paid $5.58 million in permit fees to Story County, Nevada, for the permits to build all those things. And that's a lot of money for such a small county.
Absolutely. On February 5th, 97 companies, including Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Netflix, Twitter, and Uber, filed an amicus brief in the federal court case led by Minnesota and Washington State to oppose the Trump administration's immigration executive order.
Amicus briefs are legal documents filed in appellate court cases by non-litigants with strong interests in the subject matter. But why is this a Tesla story?
Because on the following day, February 6th, Tesla and SpaceX, along with 30 more companies, joined the amicus brief.
Did you know that 200 of the Fortune 500 companies were founded by immigrants or their children?
So, it's almost like...
it's almost like this country was founded by immigrants.
By immigrants. Huh. Hey, you know who is included in that?
Who?
Elon.
Elon's an immigrant.
Yeah.
That's true.
Isn't that funny?
That's a good point.
If the Trump administration gets its way, a new border tax could make a lot of cars more expensive.
Researcher Baum and Associates, LLC, estimated that most car manufacturers would have to raise the price of their vehicles by thousands of dollars to make up for the tax.
That's because most car manufacturers in the U.S. make much of the cars and its parts outside the U.S., which would trigger the tax.
So as I look at this chart here, Jesse, I don't see Tesla.
Keep looking.
Let's see, Jaguar, Volvo, Mercedes, they all get hit hard. Toyota, Nissan. Wait, there's Tesla. Why is it at the bottom?
That's a good thing. You see, because Teslas are made right here in the U.S., the tax, if implemented, wouldn't affect them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So bring it on. Bring on the border tax.
Bring on the tax.
Did you know that you can use a Tesla to go really fast?
I did know that.
Did you know that a Tesla can be a police car?
I mean, I would assume so, yeah.
Well, I bet you didn't know that you can use a Model X as a tractor.
As a tractor, like a tractor beam?
No, as a tractor on a farm.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, a tractor on a farm. Look at this footage here of an Austrian farmer who is using his white Model X to do all of his tractor duties on the farm. See, he's driving around wood, and he's driving through the fields, and he's using it just like you would a tractor.
I mean, it's great. I am so glad that he is doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Good for him.
In a way, like some people are going to say, well, this is crazy, you should buy a tractor, but it's a tractor and it's a car.
That's true. He has the license plates.
Right. I mean, you can't use your tractor as a car.
That's true.
And you can't use your car as a tractor, but here you can.
Right.
So it actually saves money if you're a farmer, because you buy one car for your family, and it also doubles as your tractor.
Bingo.
We've solved the problem.
Nailed it.
Yes. According to Audi's Chief of Sales and Marketing, Dietmar Vogenreiter, Audi's new e-tron Quattro will be the first real premium electric SUV. Isn't that exciting? I mean, a luxury electric SUV. I can't wait.
What are you talking about? We're sitting in the first luxury electric SUV.
That's not possible. The e-tron won't even be coming out until 2018.
But the Model X is a premium electric SUV.
I don't think it is, because Dietmar said this at the Detroit Motor Show, and Audi is owned by VW, and they never lie.
What? In a related story, we've all heard by now that Volkswagen has admitted guilt and was forced to pay $2 billion as part of its settlement over Dieselgate.
VW has now unveiled some of its plans for how it will spend that money. They'll be installing 300 plus charging stations, which are level 2 or DC fast chargers, in approximately 15 metro areas in the US. And they're going to be developing a high-speed cross-country network consisting of 200 plus stations, which will be DC fast chargers.
VW will make 4 $500 million investments into Electrify America every 30 months, and it must obtain approval from CARB and the EPA before spending the money.
The first stations will be installed in 2017, according to the company, and in total, VW has agreed to spend up to $25 billion in the United States to address claims from owners, environmental regulators, the U.S. states, and dealers, and they have offered to buy back about 500,000 polluting vehicles.
Wow.
According to a recent survey from Altman Valandri and Company, 60% of more than 2,500 American drivers that were surveyed said they were unaware of electric cars.
Yeah, the survey found that 80% of people surveyed had never ridden in one, let alone driven one.
I mean, this survey to me is a big deal, because it shows that if you're watching this show right now, you're one of the small percentage of people that knows about electric vehicles, knows how important they are.
Mm-hmm.
Most people in the U.S. don't even know they really exist.
Right.
And so think about that for a second. We've talked about cell phones before. Imagine if we were talking about cell phones on the show and most Americans hadn't heard of cell phones yet.
Right. So, I mean, what I want you to do is to talk to 10 people this week about electric cars, just in normal conversation. Just sort of steer the conversation over to it. I mean, cars are pretty common things, and, you know, Teslas are pretty easy to talk about. You know, you've got the speed, you've got how sexy they are, and all sorts of fun stuff like that.
I mean, share a video, like share one of our videos, or share a video of a Tesla beating a Hellcat or something.
Drag racing.
Right.
I mean, just try and spread the word, because if you spread it to 10 people, those 10 people might spread it to 10 people. I mean, we can change the whole paradigm.
They're all going to hear about it eventually.
They
might
will.
as well be from you, though. Thank you for it.
Right, absolutely.
In the UK last month, EVs had a 4.2 market share in car sales for the month.
That's the highest market share ever in the UK.
Yeah, and diesel car sales were down 4.3%.
Wow.
So we're going to handle this next story in depth, or out of our depth.
Out of our depth.
Which you're probably going to want to see. It's about the Chevy Bolt driving autonomously, so go check it out over there.
Right here.
Oh yeah, right there. So every week we take a comment or two from a viewer that we think was interesting, and we bring it up on the show. So this week's comment comes from
Cicero Fernandez. So Cicero says, Zach and Jesse, 8 people die every day in Delhi due to pollution. I'm from India and I wish to know, is Tesla making any progress in my country? I'm a pro-Tesla fan. Its renewable energy solutions are revolutionary. Since we have a big pollution problem here, I wish Tesla had opened up a gigafactory here, as the price of solar panels and battery would drop drastically. I thought if you'd help me spread this news, it would help. And so then...
Good for you, Cicero. That's awesome.
So thank you so much for commenting and caring about other people.
Yeah.
Who, live near you. And I mean, it's such a what a huge problem pollution is.
Yes.
8 people a day.
That's just sad.
It's so sad that it's all caused by pollution.
And problems that we can solve.
Problems that we can totally solve.
And I know Elon wants to get into India. I know he's talked before about wanting to put the supercharger network throughout India. So do we have any word on what he's doing?
So, luckily, one of the responses is from Rajiv Reddy, and he says, read a column in Times of India. Elon responded to someone on Twitter saying that they're planning on opening up a showroom here in India summer of this year.
Wow, yeah, so I mean, that's pretty amazing. That's only a few months away.
Right.
Opening a showroom is a good first step. It's kind of how Tesla does things. They put a showroom first, and then maybe
people
a service center.
People are going to start buying some cars,
and then superchargers,
and then it's basically a Tesla place.
And then it just blows up.
Boom.
So I mean, I think the good news is that the first step has happened, which means that Elon moves quickly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think once that happens, it's not like most companies where they put their toe in the water and then nothing happens. I think once you get a showroom, things are going to happen fast.
So I'm very excited for India. Yes. I'm very excited for the whole world.
And it takes people like you pushing for this to happen. So I mean, keep pushing, keep talking about it.
Keep tweeting at him.
And we're going to keep talking about it too, because India is a huge market, and they could totally benefit from being there. And I mean, opening a gigafactory there would be amazing.
That'd be super great.
So we like to cover all the new superchargers that are going in around the world. And what have we got going in this week, Jess?
All right, so this week in Klamath Falls, Oregon, they are starting construction on a supercharger.
Nice.
So if you're interested, head on down, take some video, take some photos of sort of what's going on around there. We all know what a supercharger looks like, so it's not going to be a big surprise. But
show us the amenities.
Show us what's around, and stuff like that. If you want, you can shoot a 25 or less second video, and we can tack it on to the end of some of our episodes to let people see what it's going to look like.
That's cool.
And also, just opened in Shenzhen, right at the Futan Tai'an Cyber Park in China. There's a brand new supercharger open there.
Nice.
So those are the new superchargers for this week.
And talking about pollution, which we were talking about before, I mean, to get more superchargers in Tesla in China is going to make a huge difference to lower the pollution there. Because I think it's like 30% of the pollution in the cities is caused by cars.
Right. So, I mean, man, superchargers are going to be great. If you want, if you live near any kind of supercharger, I mean, don't hesitate to just go film it, because I'm sure there's going to be a story that'll happen at one, or it'd be good to have some footage of it. So I mean, if you're driving by, if you're charging up, if you're just a big fan and you want to stop by, maybe say hello to some Tesla owners. We're usually pretty nice.
Yeah.
And just get some footage. That'd be awesome.
Thanks so much for watching this week, everybody. If you've got any comments or ideas for the show, please comment below. We love getting them. And if you would like to head over to Patreon, throw us a couple bucks. That really helps us out a lot. We've gotten a couple pieces of new gear this week, which are going to help us make our shows. We got like a thing to hold a camera, and it's awesome to be able to get better gear so we can make better shows for you.
And so here's one other thing that I want to do. I've been checking our analytics, and about 3/4 of our viewers are not subscribed.
What?
So what I want to do is just say, like, hey, if you're not subscribed and you watched this show and you enjoyed it, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It doesn't cost any money.
I think a lot of people are afraid to hit it because they think it's committing them to something.
It's free. You can unsubscribe at any point. It's just it'll just sort of...
It lets us know that you're interested.
YouTube will just let you know, hey, Zach and Jesse have a new Tesla Time news. So, because
we do it every week.
We do it every week. So please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you hit the like button, other people are going to start to see this video in their feeds. And so maybe you're going to, find someone who didn't know anything about Tesla, and you don't even know them. but you're sharing it with them.
That's right. It creates a great community. The other thing I want to mention is that you can hear this as a podcast. So if you want to just hear it on your way to work and you can't watch, just go over to iTunes or your favorite podcast viewer and listener, and you can listen there. And also, we have so many stories that we don't get to every week. We compile them into a show every month called Off the Grid, and that show's available also as a podcast where we kind of dive deeper. And we just finished shooting a show that's going to come out this week, and there's 30, 40 stories in there.
Absolutely,
so if you want, even if you can't get enough.
And that wasn't even all the stories.
I know. We had like 80 or 90. So
we had over 100.
We go through a lot of news here. So if you just can't get enough EV news and sustainable energy news, that's where you should go.
Off the Grid.
Thanks so much for watching. Now you know.
Bye.